It's 24 after 12 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. The UN's Children's Fund, I beg your pardon, says at least 330 children were killed or injured in Sudan during the first 6 months of 2026. The agency says the highest number of child casualties was recorded in the Darfur and Kordofan regions. Since May, drone strikes and other attacks have reportedly caused more than 35 child casualties in Kordofan alone, with at least 18 children killed and over 17 injured. The victims ranged in age from just 2 months to 17 years. UNICEF Representative for Sudan, Sheldon Yett, says that children are trapped in a relentless cycle of violence, displacement and deprivation, stressing that they must never be targeted. And for more on this, we are joined on the line by Sheldon Yett, UNICEF Representative for Sudan. Sheldon, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon. Good to be with you.
Now, Sheldon, just take us through your findings regarding child casualties in Sudan.
Well, of course, we're in the fourth year of the war, and children continue to be hit, targeted, and die from drone attacks, from shelling, from artillery. In the first 6 months alone, we've seen some 300 children killed by such attacks, and that's just a tip of the iceberg. Of course, we have far more children who are dying of cholera, dying of malnutrition, dying from preventable diseases, all the casualties, all the after effects of a war that has dragged on for years now.
UNICEF reports that at least, you've mentioned it as well, that at least 330 children were killed or injured in just the first 6 months of 2026. How does this compare with previous reporting periods based on these numbers? Are attacks on children becoming more frequent? Does it seem like they are being targeted?
Well, it's hard to say if they're being targeted, but certainly places where children are and where children should expect to be safe are being hit. We know that health centers are being hit. We know that schools are being hit. We know that markets are being hit. These, of course, are not military targets. These are targets, these are places where children, where civilians are expected to be.
Beyond those that are either killed or injured, how many children are living in constant fear and displacement?
Well, we have some 15 million children, actually over 15 million children, who are in need of humanitarian assistance in this country. That's a massive number. That's more than the population of many European countries. So there isn't a corner of Sudan where children don't require assistance and help.
And how has just the continued fighting affected children's access to healthcare, nutrition, and education? Are humanitarian agencies able to just safely reach children in the worst affected areas and just access restricted areas?
Well, sometimes, some places, but not consistent support. The problem is, of course, that we have to negotiate inch by inch every delivery of our supplies. We have to deal with people at checkpoints, deal with people at the highest levels of militia groups to negotiate that. We are able to get our supplies through, but it takes lots of negotiation, and we're only able to meet a fraction of the needs because, as I mentioned, this war continues to grow, it continues to expand, and more children are requiring assistance. They require assistance to be immunized, to get to nutrition support, to get basic health care, and to go back to school. Roughly half the children in this country are not in school.
Why do you think the leaders of in the country, as well as the different groups that are at war with each other, why do you feel that it seems like it has gotten to a point where everything has to be negotiated, where children are impacted and affected, especially when it comes to just the general well-being of a child? Why are they not willing to give access to humanitarian organizations?
Well, I think that's a question that needs to be directed at leaders of militia groups and others. But as UNICEF, we call on the government and all parties to this conflict to protect civilians and civilian infrastructure, to make sure that UNICEF supplies and the supplies of our partners can safely be delivered to all children in need, to all communities in need, to ensure that services can be reestablished to all populations in need, no matter where those populations happen to be.
Sheldon, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave it there for today.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Thank you, Sheldon, and to you too. That's Sheldon Yett, UNICEF representative for Sudan, joining us on the line.